Today, we're going to be smoking up a 12-pound USDA choice brisket on the Lone Star Grill's offset. We're also going to smoke up some onions and some garlic. And we're going to turn all of this into some terrific brisket sandwiches. So what I have in front of me right here is a 12-pound USDA choice brisket. I trimmed it up last night and seasoned it with a rub that's just a mixture of 1/3 kosher salt, 1/3 coarsely ground black pepper, and 1/3 granulated garlic. And it's been soaking in the refrigerator overnight, getting those seasonings in there. We're going to go ahead and get it on the Lone Star Grill's offset now. My target temp today is 300 degrees. If it drops as low as 275, I'm okay with that, but I want to keep it in that right around the 300 range. I've got water in a big foil pan in the cook chamber, and today I'm going to be burning a mix, kind of alternating between hickory and white oak. So let's go ahead and get our brisket on. I'm going to put the point towards the firebox over here, and I always like to do mine fat side down. That's just a personal choice. Sometimes after I wrap it, I will flip it and let the fat be on the top, and that's usually in lower grade briskets, but this one's looking pretty good. It's got good marbling, so probably leave it fat side down today. All right, we're going to go ahead and get that closed up, let it get smoking. We'll come back in an hour, probably spritz it at that point, and we will also at that point put on our onions and our garlic. See you back here in about an hour. All right, we're at the 1 hour mark, and one of the things I want to do now is get our onions and our garlic ready. I have them here in a small cast iron pan. I'm just going to put a little bit of olive oil on them. The onion's just been peeled and kind of lopped off the bottom so it sits flat. Same thing with the garlic. Remove that outer paper, but keep them all together. I'm going to put a little olive oil on the top of each. And we're going to put this in the smoker, and then we're going to check and see if we need to spritz our brisket. Brisket's looking really good. We can get our cast iron pan with the onions and garlic down here at the firebox end. And the brisket looks like it can use a little spritz, and I'm just using plain water. All right, we're going to get that closed up. We'll come back in an hour to check the brisket again. We're probably going to let the onions and the garlic go about maybe 2 hours unwrapped, and then we'll wrap them in some foil to let them finish up and soften up. But for now, we're just going to let that brisket keep going. I've added a piece of hickory. I started with white oak, so we're burning some hickory now, and it is smelling great here. See you back here in about an hour. All right, we are at the 2 hour mark. Let's check our brisket. Let's check our onions and our garlic. Temp's been holding really steady right around that 300 degrees. Let's go take a look at everything. Looking good. The onions and garlic are getting some nice color on them there. I'm gonna slide them back this way a little bit. Brisket's looking really good. I think I am gonna give it a spritz though. I think we're going to come back in 30 minutes, and at that point, I think I'm going to wrap the onions and the garlic in foil for about another hour to continue softening. They've got good color developing. I don't want to get them too smoky on the outside. The brisket, the color is developing nicely, and that's what I look for when I decide to wrap, color and texture. So it could be at the stall at that point, might be a little before, might be a little after, but really I'm looking for that color and texture, and I'm guessing probably have at least 2 more hours to go on the brisket before we wrap. So let's get this closed up. We'll come back in 30 minutes and wrap that garlic and the onion. All right, we've been going 2.5 hours. Let's go ahead and get our onions and our garlic wrapped up in some foil. And we're gonna check our brisket, but we'll see if we need to spritz. We're gonna let it go probably another 90 minutes after that before we check it again. That brisket's looking really good. It's got some nice color. Nice color on the onions and the garlic. Getting nice and soft too. Double wrap these in foil. Back in our cast iron pan, Let's get it back on the smoker and let's spritz our brisket. Gonna hit this with some plain water again. All right, we're gonna close this up and we'll come back in 90 minutes and check that brisket again. Probably in about an hour, I may pull the onions and the garlic off because those need to cool down completely for what we're gonna use them for later. See you back here in about an hour and a half. All right, we are at the 4-hour mark. Let's check our brisket, see if we're ready to wrap. I've already put the little cast iron pan with our onions and garlic inside, just resting on the stove to let it cool down. Let's see if our brisket's ready to wrap. That is looking really good. That is the color and texture I'm looking for right now before the wrap. So I'm thinking it's probably good right now, but I want to take the temperature just as a curiosity. Let's see what we've got in here. So right there, we're at 152. Right there, I don't know if you can see that. We're at 153, 152. Let's move it around. So it is time to wrap this. Got my gloves with insulators here. So I want to keep my orientation here. This is the side I want up. This is our meat side. This is the side we want up. And we're ready to get this back on the smoker and get a temp probe in it. This is the time I put a temp probe in. Right down in here and see if we get a good spot. That's showing 147, 148, which is fine because I'd rather find a lower temp spot than one of those higher temp spots. I want to make sure that our pull temp that I'm aiming for, 203, is everywhere in that brisket. So we're going to get this closed up, let it keep smoking, and I'll bring you back when we hit 203 degrees internal. But first, also, I want to give that paper a spritz. See you back here when we hit that 203 internal and we check for tenderness. All right, we are just about to hit 203 degrees internal. We've been going just about 9 hours total, unwrapped and wrapped. Let's check for tenderness. So I have my point side down here. Points are usually going to be more tender. Oh yeah. Now the flat side down here, I'm going to try and go in from the side. That's feeling really tender too. Wow. So we are tender. Now I'm going to get that out of there. It's going to go in a foil pan covered with foil, and it's just going to sit there for at least 2 hours just on top of my stove, just resting. Once we get close to that 2-hour mark, we're going to do some things with that garlic and the onion that we smoked up. Then we will build some nice brisket sandwiches. So our brisket has been resting now for just about 2 hours. And what I want to do is get some of the accompaniments done for our brisket sandwiches. The first one is a smoked garlic horseradish mayo. Yeah, we're going to use some of that smoked garlic, mix it with some nice horseradish and some mayonnaise. So I've got our head of garlic here, and what I want to do is just squeeze out probably 3, maybe 4 of these cloves. Let's go with 4. And we're just going to take a spoon and smash these. The smell of this is really, really good. Now I want to get about 4 tablespoons of mayonnaise in here. And I mean kind of heaping tablespoons. This is going to be for several sandwiches. That's probably like almost 4, but we'll give a little bit more. And I want to give about 2 teaspoons of horseradish. I'm using this extra hot horseradish so we can kick this up and wake ourselves up. I'm going to give this a little pinch of salt and cracked black pepper. Let's mix this up. I want to make sure you get that garlic up in everywhere. And if you're wondering why I have this bowl right here on another cutting board in a tray, it's going to be in stages. This next one is going to be for cutting the onions, and the cutting board in this tray is going to be for the brisket because I want to contain the juice. Give a little taste. That's nice. That's really nice. All right, going to set this aside and get our onions ready. Now for our onions, Really what we're going to be doing is just chopping them up and adding a little bit of pepper. So I'm going to take a good amount here and save the rest. I just want to sort of chop everything up. We want to make sure that that smoky layer on the outside gets mixed in with everything. All right, that is looking pretty good to me. I'm going to put these in a little container and we're going to get our brisket out here. There is our brisket. One thing I like to do after the brisket's been sitting for a couple hours is just take the temp and see what it is. I'm always curious how much it retains. So this one, if you can see that, is still 162 degrees in that spot there. That's nice and toasty. Now I want to go ahead and I want to separate the flat from the point, and there's a fat seam right here. Just going to follow that along. There we go. And we have our flat and our point separated. Remember, the grains go different directions on these. So first thing I want to do is I want to cut some of our flat. Oh, that bark. I think we did pretty good. That's looking nice. Got a nice little smoke ring. It's juicy. I'm going to cut some of this for our sandwich. And then we'll also cut some point pieces. Let's go with maybe 3 pieces of this because we're going to break those down to be a little smaller anyway. That is still very, very hot. Very toasty. I'm going to move the flat back into my foil pan here. And cut a few pieces of this into the right size for our sandwich. I've got a bowl on the side here. I'm just going to put it in. Yeah, I know, I gotta have a taste. Let's see. That was really good. Now for some point. Let's move some pieces out of the way. All right, I'll taste this little barky bit that fell off. And I think we have enough to build a decent sandwich here. Let's get to that. Got my bun and everything here. It's nicely toasted brioche bun, but I forgot one thing, the onions, to put a little bit of coarsely ground black pepper in there. We wanted to do that and mix that up. Just an extra little kick in there. So here is my bottom bun. I'm going to start with a little bit of our smoked garlic horseradish mayo. Not a lot. If you've watched my videos, you know I don't like to go over the top on condiments. Sometimes I don't put any, but I think this one calls for it. We also have to have the salad portion of our brisket dinner, some arugula. So you can say, yeah, I had some salad. It's healthy. Now, some of our brisket. I wonder how much I can get on here. It's going to be a little bit of a balancing act to see how much we can fit. Going to get a good mix of point and flat. Remember, you don't need a building permit, so go as high as you want. Now, just a little bit of our onions. We just want to get a little bit of that smoky onion flavor. Not a lot. And a little bit of our smoked garlic horseradish mayo on our top bun, and we crown it. There we have it, a delicious brisket sandwich, which I'm saying is delicious because I've tasted the brisket. I know everything else is going to taste good too. With our smoked onion, with some cracked black pepper, and our smoked garlic horseradish mayo, with some salad. Let's have a taste. I have no idea if this is going to stay together as I bite into it, but I'm willing to take that risk. Cheers. That is insanely delicious. Smoked brisket can be used in so many ways. Just straight up slice it and eat it. But if you have the time and the ingredients, go in the sandwich route. It's really hard to make a bad brisket sandwich.